HooHooHooRobin.
Joe DeRosa in studio. It's been a while. What's up, Joey?
Hey, guys. How are you?
We jump right into it now.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Good morning, and thanks for listening to the Opie and Anthony show.
Nah. Filling in for the vacationing Jimmy Norton.
Where's he vacationing?
He's not vacationing. He's doing a Leno thing out there.
Oh,
And
nice.
He's in Arizona, though.
For the BCS championship.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, the biggest fucking college football game of the year.
Oh.
The game.
Man, I gotta start watching sports, man. I literally know nothing. I didn't even know what BCS was when you said that.
I don't think you're missing it. I don't know either.
Why don't you watch sports?
I never played them when I was a kid. I sucked at them, so I never got interested in them, and I just never. That was it. Like I couldn't. If I can't remotely do it, I can't watch it.
You don't want to watch it?
You know, like if I don't, because I don't understand it. I can't. You know.
I can't fucking play hockey, but I love watching it.
But you're athletic in other ways, though, right?
I used to be. I was. Yeah, I grew up playing a lot of sports. But now I'm just, I got the spine of an 80-year-old man right now, so I can't fucking move too well.
Yeah, I've had that since I was 10.
I have a little problem with some herniated discs right now.
Oh, that sucks, man. What did you do something to fuck them up, or was it just one of those
I don't know,
things?
maybe being a caddy at 12 years old where you're carrying around fucking 100 pounds of someone else's golf bags probably crushed my spine. And now that I'm an older guy, it's coming back to haunt me.
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
That really sucks, dude.
It's either that or all the fucking pounding, running up and down a basketball court, or I was a runner. I was everything. I still try to stay in shape, but it's getting harder and harder.
Oh, my God. Look who's on the phone, though.
Michio Kaku. Hey, you know about the birds?
You hear this
falling
whole
from the
thing
sky.
about the birds falling out of the sky there in Arkansas?
Something about the birds, they fell out of the sky.
Fell out of the sky. It's pretty much.
You don't know?
Yeah, the birds, they were flying and
they fell out of the sky.
they fell down there.
No one has any clue.
Just sit back and watch.
There's a bunch of theories.
We'll get to your silliness in a minute. We got serious stuff to discuss right now.
Dr. Michio Kaku.
Michio Kaku.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Kaku.
It's always a pleasure when we have you on our show, sir.
And
Okay.
by the way, Dr. Kaku has a book out. It's Physics of the Future, How Science Will Change Daily Life by 2100. That's, the year, 2100.
Yeah, but the problem with the book, sir, you have a flying car on the cover. That's never going to happen.
By the year 2100, I think you're going to be very wrong.
Really?
You could trust other people with a fucking car in the sky?
We already have flying cars, except they're very expensive.
Yeah, they're called airplanes.
No. We have real flying cars. I did a Discovery Channel program. We filmed the flying car.
I saw that thing
Very
with the...
expensive. And
Yes.
price will go down over the decades. And we are talking about projecting to the year 2100.
Yeah, that's pretty far.
Yeah, but you're talking about people trying to like navigate into Manhattan without hitting buildings?
Yes. We're talking about supermagnets using superconductivity.
Okay, now you're
using
showing me a thing or
technology
two.
that we will harness in the coming decades.
You know,
And
So we're going to take the trust out of the flying car equation.
it's a question of economics.
Right.
Jetpacks. Jetpacks are also possible today, except they're just very expensive.
Got an old school phone.
I know.
Why do you have an old school phone, sir?
That's just his ringtone.
Oh,
I'm sure of it.
okay.
Has to be. Dr. Kaku's there with one of those black phones with a curly wire going there. Hello. Well, Dr. Kaku, let's get right into this. A lot of controversy over the past week or so with these birds falling out of the sky.
Right. We think we have the smoking gun. We think we know what's happening here.
Oh.
First of all, you have the red-winged blackbird, which flies in very tight formation, unlike other birds, which spread out.
We're gonna be
You
right
follow
here.
the leader.
Watch this.
And if the leader
on.
gets disoriented because of fireworks, thunderstorm, lightning, microbursts, or whatever, then the whole flock could commit mass suicide.
Wow.
Just like lemmings, when the lead lemming goes off a cliff, you have hundreds of thousands of lemmings that commit mass suicide. The red-winged blackbird's eyesight is rather poor. They're flying at night. They get disoriented. And the lead bird maybe makes a nosedive right into the ground or right into a house.
And they all just follow suit.
Well, they
That's
picked the
right.
wrong lead bird then.
Wow.
That's right, the mass suicide. Now, believe it or not, These events take place every other year in the United States. 16 recorded incidences over the last 30 years involving over 1,000 blackbirds at a time. So these mass die-offs happen every other year, except they don't attract media attention. This time it did because we have simultaneous die-offs of fish and pelicans now and birds in Sweden. And however, it is largely a coincidence that all these events are taking place pretty much at the same time.
The one problem I have, you said every other year. Why is this happening only every other year?
Approximately, on average, 16 events over the last 30 years, averaging about every other year. Of course, it's not like clockwork. We're talking about animals.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But animal die-offs do take place rather regularly, but they never make the national media.
Yeah,
This
see,
time
now
it
this
did.
did, and it got all hyped up, and the press made like a frenzy out of it.
Right, a feeding frenzy with the internet.
Imagine that.
Wires
Why would they
burning
do
out.
that?
People thought it was government secret experiments.
Right.
Saucers or whatever.
Well,
The HARP project.
You got the conspiracy people saying, it's chemtrails, it's, like Ann said, the HARP project.
Yeah.
But it's just, it is what it is. You got a lead bird that gets confused, and then there's a mass suicide.
See, that's what we were thinking. Dr. Kaku, I also want to ask you about chemtrails versus contrails.
Before we do that, I'm sorry, because stay with the animals for a second. The fish dying.
Yeah.
Because
we think we know what's happening there. There are three possible culprits. One is chemical poisoning, one is pathogens or disease, and third is trauma. And you can rule out chemical poisoning because 95% of the fish that died in Arkansas were of one species, bottom-feeding drumfish. If it was a chemical poisoning, you get several species being dying off.
So fucking smart.
However, it takes about a month to culture tissue to make sure that it is disease. So disease is the number one culprit, we think, in the mass die-off of 100,000 drumfish, off the coast of Arkansas.
Yeah.
What would trauma be, Doctor? You said trauma.
Well, for example, in the oceans, we have the Navy using high-powered sonar. Some people think that disorients the whales. And you have mass beaching of whales, which is, rather unusual. But these mass beachings of whales usually take place in the vicinity of sonic tests by our subs. And so the Navy, as a precaution, is now restricting some of its sonar tests so that we don't disorient animals in the ocean.
Okay. Whales. Yeah. It's in a way of our military.
And then they die on the beach like that.
So now we've explained the birds and the fish, and now, Ant wants to know
about this contrail versus chemtrail. Have you heard about the chemtrails that people are talking about?
You mean that launching of an object off the coast of Los Angeles just about 2 months ago?
No, but we could talk about that, too.
No. Well, that was probably not an ICBM. It was probably not a rocket.
Yeah.
It was probably an airplane.
Right.
Believe it or not. And the reason for that is that if you look at the velocity of that object taking off off Los Angeles, it didn't accelerate. If it was a ballistic missile, it would be accelerating out to about 15,000 miles per hour. And it didn't accelerate at all. It was at constant velocity. And it also executed mid-course maneuvers. Ballistic missiles execute minor maneuvers, not large maneuvers.
Yeah.
So we tend to think it was an airplane. And, if you live next to an airport, you see these trails of water vapor all the time.
Yeah. See, it's not chemicals. It's it's contrails. It's water vapor.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
I want to believe in conspiracies because the real answers are too boring.
It's always more fun.
They certainly are more fun. Dr. Michio Kaku, whose new book is called Physics of the Future, a book I certainly will read.
I like
I'm
that.
excited.
Coming out in March.
Coming out in March. Good.
What are some of the things we're going to look forward to in the year 2100?
Well, something that we're going to have within maybe 10 years' time.
I would say
the
nothing.
Internet will be so compact, it'll be in your contact lens.
Contact lens? What if we don't wear them? You miss out.
Well, if you have the Internet in your contact lens, you'll be able to identify anyone's face. When you talk to somebody, you'll see their complete biography right next to their face.
Uh-oh.
And you'll see subtitles subtitles if they speak in Chinese or German.
Oh, wow, that's okay.
Your contact lens will translate on the fly what the person is saying and put it right underneath that person's face as you talk to that person. If you're an artist, you'll be able to recreate any kind of sculpture with your hands just by waving your hands in space. And your contact lens will then create this image of a beautiful work of art that you're creating. Architects will love this because architects will be able to create buildings and rooms and furniture just in the contact lens by waving their hands.
Doctor, I already see all these things when I talk to people. Does that mean there's something wrong with me?
Well, there's a theory that says yes. And in addition, if you are a student taking a final examination, these contact lenses could save your life.
How's that?
Because you'll be able to see the exam answers in your contact lens as you take the final.
Well, I bet they'll say no contact lenses during the final.
Well, how do they tell?
They'll have to pop that out.
I don't want to talk about things that are going to be around in 2100 because we're not going to be around. I want to know what's going to happen in our life.
Well, he was just saying that's like 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
That's a 10-year thing. Okay.
The internet's a biggie. I like, you know what I really like, Dr. Kaku, is all the information that's available now right at our fingertips with our various smartphones. Where are these going to be headed in the next few years?
Well, we sort of know the answer. The future of the computer is to pretty much disappear. It'll be everywhere and nowhere. The wallpaper, for example, will be intelligent. So when you put wallpaper up, you'll be putting up computers.
It's already more intelligent than some of the people we have working for us, Dr. Kaku.
That's right. Flexible computer screens already exist. And they're going to get cheap enough so that we'll be able to, use wallpaper, which is intelligent. So the next time you want a wall screen, you just talk to the wall, and there's your wall screen. You want to redecorate the house, you simply talk to the wall, and the house redecorates itself.
Talk to the wall.
Color,
changes color, right. So it would be just a TV screen, virtually.
Wow, how cool
And then you could change
your entire wall, basically a gigantic TV screen.
Can you make it into a jungle theme?
You could?
What?
Can you make your wall into a jungle theme by just talking to it?
Well, yeah, anything you want. Even glass will be intelligent. We have intelligent glass already in the laboratory. So as you look out the window, if you don't like what you see, you can simply change what you see.
Could we do that to a engineering studio room off of our main studio? If we don't like what we see, we can just tint it so we don't have to look at it.
Can I do that to the faces of the women I sleep with?
Yeah, well, now you can change it to be anything you want. You simply talk to the glass, and intelligent glass already exists. We have PC screens that are totally transparent. And as you talk to the window, you can pretty much change it into anything you want. So the point here is that computer power is going to be so cheap and so plentiful that everything around us will be intelligent, maybe except us.
I think it's pretty obvious that within a few years, entire walls are going to be TVs.
It could be, right? Because the cost of computers drops by half every 18 months.
Right.
So if you just simply extend this out to 10 years, computers will be 1,000, 10,000 times cheaper than they are now.
Yeah, but the TVs are getting bigger and more affordable, and I think you're going to see ridiculous TVs in everyone's places.
Well, Max...
Yeah, in fact, even your clothing is going to be intelligent.
No, it won't.
If you have a heart attack today, you can just die on a lonely country road. In the future, your clothes will upload your entire biography, medical history, call an ambulance, and locate your position by GPS, all if you are unconscious.
Just don't wash it.
You'll never die alone in the future.
Oh, it's like OnStar in your shirt. That's pretty cool.
Hey,
right, you'll have a doctor in your clothing in the future.
I don't like that.
Hey, we want to ask about another thing that happened very recently. The weather machine, I think it was in the desert of Abu Dhabi.
Yeah?
Was that real, or was that some fake newspaper or whatever?
Well, there's no such thing as weather modification. That is maybe 100 years into the future.
But they said they made it rain 50-something times in the desert.
Well, I've been to Abu Dhabi several times, and I tell you, the desert is pretty dry there. And if they can make it rain, they would make a lot of money. But I tend to doubt that story.
He tends to doubt that then. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any real proof. You would think
that.
they would have had video of it if they're making it rain in the desert, right?
Doctor, the CIA tried very hard during the Vietnam War to modify the weather during the monsoon season in Vietnam. They failed. If the CIA can't do it...
Wait, did you know this, Ant, during the Vietnam War? They were trying to... How did they...
I was involved in it, Opie.
By iodide ice crystals. By seeding the clouds, they hoped to induce the monsoons over the Viet Cong so that the Viet Cong guerrillas would be washed out.
Just got them mad.
So they tried to used that as a military weapon, basically, and they failed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, Lex Luthor was running the Vietnam War.
Mr. Luthor. Very good. Did you see, Dr. Kaku, did you see this coming with computers really pretty much getting rid of the typical tower-based computer in your house? Did you see this coming where it would be really at your fingertips in these smartphones?
Yeah, pretty much. I wrote a book called Visions in the late 1990s where I predicted what's going to happen by the year 2010, 2020, 2030. And we're right on schedule. If you read my book, the predictions I made are right on schedule.
Really?
Computer power. We have Moore's Law. We can predict with very good accuracy how powerful and how cheap computers are going to be because prices drop every 18 months.
You know what? But there is the human factor in there that's very hard to factor into something like that. I understand working with numbers and knowing that the computer prices will drop and the technology gets better over a fixed rate that you guys can pretty much predict. But there's the human factor of what we wanted. Now, what I wanted back in the 90s was a big computer, a big monitor, all that stuff, not knowing that in a few years I would want a very small handheld computing device like my iPhone, and my television, being a flat screen on the wall, is now turning more into a hybrid of my computer and my television with the likes of things like Apple TV and Netflix and all the other ways to deliver the media to my house. See, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, in fact,
I'm not a
John von
scientist.
Neumann, the mathematical genius who helped to create the electronic computer, he made 3 predictions in the 1950s about the future of his invention. All 3 predictions were wrong.
Oh, really?
He said that only governments would be able to afford computers. Second, that computers would be so fantastic we can compute the weather. And third, computers will only be controlled by the elites and by small groups of people. Now we know that computers, instead of becoming bigger, became smaller, more powerful, and that weather prediction is still impossible with a computer.
Yeah, it's gotten a little more
accurate.
accurate, but they still don't know. I love that. They get on and still just don't know. They have to guess and say, we think if the weather takes this track, that we'll get this amount of snow. You would think by now it would be an exact science.
Yeah, but we have something called chaos theory.
I know that. Hey, we all saw Jurassic Park.
Right.
The drip of water.
Chaos theory basically says that when you have very large numbers of molecules and large numbers of particles, it's extremely difficult to predict. In fact, a modern computer it's impossible to exactly predict the weather. You can only predict general features, qualitative features, not quantitative features.
Right.
So chaos theory means that the stock market, the weather, the coast of a seashore, these are things which are rather unpredictable, even with our best computers.
I just read
weather modification is going to be beyond our control for quite a while.
I just read a bunch of stuff online about butterfly effect and chaos theory. I just wanted to say those. I did because I feel like I know something.
What did you think about it, Joe DeRosa?
I thought the movie was a poor representation of the theory and the effect.
We have a movie critic here.
I think that stuff's really interesting. The theory of everything. I was reading about the theory of everything.
Yeah, that's what I do for a living.
Yeah,
that's his
it's
job.
incredibly complex. But actually, Doctor, is there a book you can recommend? I mean, I would like to read some of your stuff, but even reading it on Wikipedia is confusing. I mean, is there a book that kind of...
Yeah, well, get a copy of my book, Hyperspace.
Okay.
It was a national bestseller when it came out. It's the first major book on string theory and the theory of everything.
Oh, my God. I can't read about
String theory is fascinating, but I find you have to read the same paragraph like
a million
3
times.
or 4 times before you know what the hell.
I could barely read about string cheese and understand it.
It's one of those books where you feel your brain exploding in front of your eyes.
Yes, Dr. Kaku.
Sorry,
I do understand that. It is a concept. Unless you or one of your colleagues, it's very hard for the layman, even when it is put in what you people think of as layman's terms, very hard to wrap your mind around it, even if you understand the words. You know what I mean?
If you understand music, you can understand string theory.
Here it is.
Oh, boy.
Here's the analogy for the dummy.
Yeah.
How Dr. Kaku, how is music like a string theory?
Because everything you see around you is basically the lowest octave of tiny little vibrating strings. Electrons, protons, neutrons, they're nothing but the lowest octave. The next higher octave is dark matter, which we find in outer space, which is invisible. But we represent, representing by electrons, neutrons, protons, are nothing but little tiny vibrating strings vibrating in the lowest octave.
Vibrating.
So
See,
chemistry is nothing but the melodies you can play on these strings.
What?
The universe is a symphony of strings.
The universe is a symphony of strings.
And the mind of God that Albert Einstein eloquently wrote about would be cosmic music resonating through 11-dimensional hyperspace.
All right, finally, it's spelt out in a way I could now
I can understand.
I can wrap my mind around that.
I seriously learned about this stuff from listening to Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa used to talk about this a lot. Like, he used to talk about like the great vibration. Everything was a musical note, and music was the thing that defined everything.
He should have been talking about his prostate.
I know, getting that checked out. Might still be around.
Why do you ignore that?
Ah,
There was a lot to talk about there.
prostate was made out of music.
Oh, I had something I wanted to talk to Dr. Kaku. I wanted to ask him another question.
The aluminum?
It's so
And other things that the
none of
government
that
is
stuff.
doing?
Just
No?
cool, like physics stuff,
Futuristic stuff?
space, and but my mind so full of things.
Right.
That just oozes out my
Well,
ears.
have we covered it all? Is there something else happening in the world that we should cover, Michio Kaku?
In the coming months, we're going to discover not just one, but perhaps dozens of Earth-like twins in outer space. Planets perhaps with oceans, liquid oceans.
Oh.
And this is the Kepler satellite currently orbiting the Earth right now, which is going to lock on to small Earth-like planets in outer space. And that's going to give us an existential shock. At night, when you look at the night sky, you'll realize that in many of the familiar constellations, there are planets that look very much like the Earth. And we'll wonder whether or not anyone's looking back at us, wondering whether or not Earth has any life on it.
Yeah, isn't it a bitch we can't just kind of, span that gap and really kind of check out other beings? It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
And again, this is going to be in the next few months. The Kepler satellite's been orbiting around for over a year and getting evidence of hundreds of large planets. But now we hope to get zero in on small planets, Earth-like planets. And then the question is there any life on these planets?
Yeah.
We're going to then zero in on radio emissions and see whether or not any of these planets emit radio.
It's kind of embarrassing. When we were growing up, we were told there were how many planets? I even forgot the number.
9.
There are 500 planets now we've discovered in outer space.
500, which means it's 5 million.
We were told there were 9 in our own solar system.
Yeah, but they pretty much said 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about other solar systems. They're like, no, there's pretty much one solar system and it has 9 planets. That's sort of what we learned growing up.
Yeah.
But now we've identified over 500 solar systems in outer space.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously arrogant to be like, I'm going to recreate the entire solar system with these styrofoam balls. This is all of it.
That's what we did.
That's all it is.
All you need to know about. We'll never go further than this.
Here you go, Teach.
Dr. Kaku, I want to ask you an Einstein question.
Okay.
I was watching a program the other day, and of course, I love Einstein and his famous theory of relativity and traveling at the speed of light and how it is not attainable because mass increases as we approach the speed of light, and it would become impossible to power something past a certain speed.
Right.
All I could think of is, what's this crazy-haired guy telling everybody this, and all of a sudden it's law? Like, how does he know? And how did he know? And why is it so? Why is it the law now that everybody accepts?
Well, first of all, we measured every single day. Your GPS system, for example, would go bonkers if Einstein was wrong. Pentagon generals have to be briefed on Einstein's theory of relativity, or else they cannot fight a war. We're talking about atomic bombs, GPS, your iPod, this phone conversation. All of it is a direct consequence of Einstein's theory of relativity.
Thank God for that guy.
A modern society would collapse if it wasn't for the contributions of Einstein. So relativity is tested every single microsecond. We test relativity.
No, I understand relativity is easy to kind of grasp, things being relative to other things. I understand that. It's this concept.
What?
Well, it is. Things being relative.
I understand relativity, things being relative to other things.
No, I take into consideration relativity on a daily basis. I do think about things relative to my car being inside the car and outside the car.
Right.
There's a relationship to the speed of the vehicle, the speed of things outside my vehicle, and the relativity. Like if somebody's behind me and they're doing the same speed I'm doing, relative to me, we might as well be parked.
Right. And also, time is relative. So
Yes.
time beats at different rates throughout the universe.
Not if you do a
Time is
radio
faster
show.
on the moon.
Some days are longer than others. But
Time
yes,
is faster on the moon than it does on the Earth.
Yeah, I wish the show was on the moon.
Show, last month, and they have a big moon in the background of the TV set. And I told Conan that time beats faster on that moon than on the Earth. And time beats slower on Jupiter than it does on Earth. So time is also relative.
and this is because of, is this because of mass?
Because of gravity. Large gravity speeds up.
That's what I meant
time.
by mass,
Weak
by the way.
gravity slows down time. And again,
Yes.
we measure this with our satellites. GPS would go bonkers if it wasn't for
Now,
this.
why, though, as an object approaches the speed of light, does it gain more mass? This seems to me something I cannot grasp.
Well, first of all, the energy is being turned into mass. That's why it gets heavier.
Oh.
And the exact equation of the energy turning into mass is E equals mc squared.
Yes.
That is precisely how much mass is accumulating as you go faster and faster and faster. So the very fact that we have hydrogen bombs is a consequence of E equals mc squared. It's a consequence of the fact that your
Kinda
speed
grasping
of
it
energy turns into mass. You get heavier.
E equals mass times
Right.
speed of light squared.
Yeah.
Right.
And that, so the energy itself is converted to mass.
That's right. That's
so
right.
then the more energy you need to move this mass is creating more mass.
You got it.
Holy Jesus, Dr. Kaku!
That's right.
Yeah, you have just.
I think Anthony missed his calling.
This is a moment for me.
That most people have had it in the 50s.
All right, Danny, stomp on my parade or rain on it.
Stop on my parade.
Blow out my parade. Oh, Dr. Kaku, no, believe me.
What happened?
It is. Thank you. I finally got a grasp on it.
All right. Why don't we let the good doctor
Yes,
go?
after that, where else are we going? Dr.
Certainly.
Kaku, thank you so much.
Okay.
Physics of the future, how science will change daily life by the year 2110.
Out in March.
And I also
Or
believe you do a
2100.
show for XM, don't you, sir?
Well, I do a show for the Science Channel.
Yes.
Sci-Fi Science. I'm the host.
I love that show.
No, we know that, but I thought you were heard on XM from time to time, a little radio.
on this show.
Sometimes, I'm on talk radio. I'm on 130 radio stations around the country.
Stop
Commercial radio
bragging.
stations.
Yeah.
On talk radio.
I got 130 shows. Hey, that's very good, and I love your show on Science Channel. It's
a lot of
amazing.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about time travel, lightsabers, ray guns.
Yeah.
Borders.
Ronald Reagan's. Yes.
It's a great show. It's a great show because he just makes up stuff. I love
It's
that.
great. No accountability. He just has
Really?
theories. It's
Right.
great.
Must be nice to be the smartest man in the room. You
It
can just say
really
whatever
is.
you want.
That's one. Oh my God! All right, pal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you so much, Dr. Kaku.
Yes.
There he goes.
All right.
And wow, talk about theory of relativity. What the fuck is going on there? Where
Holy
did that picture
shit.
come from?
Your sister just posted an old picture of you
My
about
sister should
30
be,
seconds ago.
Should be shot for that.
Adam Ferrara?
yeah, it
it's
is. They were pals
me and
growing up.
Adam Ferrara.
No shit. Adam Ferrara looks the same. Anthony looks like the big ragu.
That is
They're chilling. though.
fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, that's me and Adam before we did anything.
Holy shit.
But Anthony, we could talk about the picture, but right after the Dr. Michio Kaku, kind of a new bit we want to start doing.
Yes.
Is the Dr. Steve rebuttal.
Oh shit!
Dr. Steve
rebuttal.
hates Dr.
Well,
Michio
let me tell you
Kaku.
something. I had an epiphany right there with Michio Kaku.
Yeah, and Dr. Steve knows a little bit about physics, right, Dr. Steve?
Intelligent wallpaper. I can't wait till the future gets here.
What's the problem?
You're not
Dr.
a fan of the
Steve?
intelligent wallpaper theory?
I don't know. That seems somewhat of a mundane application of what could be cool.
I could just see some housewife cleaning off some kid that crayoned over the intelligent wallpaper, spraying fantastic on it and ruining the screen.
So basically the entire future is just designed to make some fat ass housewife not have to work anymore.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's it.
And it would be nice for a maybe young future Anthony to see virtual spaghetti and meatballs and sauce running down the wall after Dad
Yes.
virtually throws it at the wall in an argument. Instead of the actual spaghetti and meatballs, it could be just an image on the
That's
intelligent wallpaper.
If that's the worst.
The Connect. You just
Yes,
you
it's-
make the motion.
It's Connect wallpaper where Dad throws the spaghetti,
Right.
but he still has to literally hit Mom.
Yeah. Do you think she'll have a virtual black eye that you can just wipe away?
She'll look normal until she looks into the wallpaper, and then Dad will be like, "See, if you want to look like that for real." Oh my God! So you didn't dig the
the intelligent wallpaper. What else?
What about flying cars based on?
This is your rebuttal.
Yeah, here's the thing with the flying cars. We have to, if we're going to truly do this, we need a room temperature semiconductor. Now, they're coming very close to having one, but you still have to immerse the ones that we have now in liquid nitrogen.
Very
Before
cold.
that, you had almost to be at absolute zero. So they're getting closer. Whether just
Speaking of
having
absolute
something-
zero, did you hear the Iraq segment? Look at he's shaking his head.
He thought he was off the hook.
Oh, Iraq.
But you gotta take the human element out of the flying car equation.
Of course.
But then it becomes public transportation that flies. It's called an airplane.
Yeah, I mean, to have true freedom in a flying car would be insane.
People
if you think about
fuck
it.
up in 2 dimensions
Right.
Too much every day.
Right.
Never mind adding altitude.
But
Sure.
don't you also have to,
have
doctor?
more room in 3 dimensions, though. So there's, it may actually be less likely that you'll run into somebody. It's much more likely when you're
really?
behind one little road.
Just imagine
Yeah.
the commute into New York. The thousands and thousands of fucking cars in the sky. There's not going to be any problems.
Will there be lanes? Because then there's just traffic again.
Yes.
Then it's
If
just
they do
traffic
have
in the
lanes.
sky.
Why would you have lanes?
If they have lanes in the sky, it would look like Coruscant from Star Wars.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I want it to look like.
You geek. I love it.
Doctor,
I love it.
Doctor, to Opie's point though, don't you have to consider like what Opie's saying about people wouldn't be able to handle flying cars when you predict or theorize on what's going to happen in the future? Don't you have to also incorporate the concept that our understanding and capability with these progressions will be higher? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we'll have a greater understanding of something like a flying car in 100 years and how to use it versus if it just popped up now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense. I think ultimately it'll be computer controlled. And the problem with that is what happens when the computer crashes. Then you've got 1 million people in the sky, and they're all falling to their doom.
God.
But that could happen now with the airlines. Aren't they computer operated, Doc?
Well,
Yo.
No, not really. I mean, there's not a single computer system that's making all these.
Guy works his whole life.
Joe just goes, guy works his whole life. He's got to take this shit. I know. Guy actually went to school, got an education, becomes a doctor, and he's just shit on by Opie.
I've been in JetBlue planes. They're already very computer savvy.
But at least the
got nothing but
pilot,
flat screens in front of him now.
the professional pilot element is still there. He still has basic gauges if all that shit fails.
Oh, really?
Like on the ground.
Where's the yoke? When you have nothing but flat screens in front of you and they break down.
No, he's got a yoke in front of him.
I've never seen a yoke.
Yeah, sometimes they got the joystick on the side too. Yeah. They don't even have the yoke. They got a little joystick on some of those planes. But you still have the human element that if the plane is still running and all the ground shit is out, he could still land the plane. Now, a flying car, if we were just dependent on computers because the people are too stupid to even drive regular cars, never mind flying ones, so that they're completely computer run and you just kind of sit in it, then we're asking for trouble.
Not really, because the computers will be better at that point.
I think so, but then we'll be asking for
With
trouble more
backup
if the computer
computers.
fucks up.
True.
But that's what I was saying earlier. You got to take into account we're going to have 100 more years of understanding to us. Do you know what I mean? It would be like throwing a guy into a flying car today.
Or a guy
How much fun would that be, though?
It would be
Or
awesome.
how about,
I would love to see that.
But how about throwing a guy from like the 1500s into a Ferrari today? Like that would kind of be, he'd crash the thing in a second.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
you're thinking like if we, in the future, we'll probably be able to deal with that shit. Our brains will be
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
equipped.
Like if you showed Ben Franklin
Yeah.
an iPod. Excuse me, doctor. Let me theorize here for a second.
Ben Franklin.
If you showed Benjamin Franklin an iPod,
He'd say, big shit. Do you know I couldn't look at these if I didn't invent these glasses, motherfucker?
Yeah.
That's what he'd say.
he'd probably have a stroke. He'd be like, you know what I mean? He doesn't. He didn't sit through the stair step of technology to get to the iPod. You know what I
Where
mean?
is the pornography, sir? That's what he'd be. He was quite the ladies' man, that Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
That's why he was bald like
he
that.
loved the pussy.
Oh, he loved it.
Especially if it was French.
He used to go to France all the time. You know what it was like to go to France? You got to get on a ship and
I know.
fucking maybe make it there just for that French pussy.
Yeah.
That guy loved
He
it.
sacrificed getting scurvy to
The
get some
scurvy.
fucking twat.
He had syphilis, didn't he?
Oh, they
didn't
all
he die
did.
from syphilis?
Everyone
Disgusting.
did.
Who didn't have syphilis back in those days, Dr. Steve?
That was like the common cold.
Was that very common, Dr. Steve? I don't know if you know that, but was it back then in the day, as they call it?
Yeah, there were quite a few famous people that had syphilis back in the day, and we just didn't have a treatment for it. So if you fucked around, and it was easy to spread. And
Oh my God!
let's see, Scott Joplin had syphilis. Gauguin, the painter, had syphilis.
Gauguin.
So, those are the
Al Capone.
Well, Al Capone,
Right.
yeah, Al Capone died of it.
Edie Amin had syphilis.
Idi Amin?
Jesus.
Didn't he?
Yeah, I would just say yes.
Yeah.
Didn't Mother Teresa have it?
Mother Teresa had the clap. She had chlamydia.
She had chlamydia.
I would assume she had the Hep A.
She had Hep A.
The Hep A. Dr. Steve, what do you know? You kill old people for a living. Why are
Oh,
we
no,
even
he
listening
doesn't.
to
He
Jesus.
helps them.
Good
He
God.
helps them and gives them comfort in their last days.
He makes their last week feel terrific.
As they take that ride over the horizon to the unknown. The boat ride. He puts the fucking silver dollars on their eyes.
We know what the ride over.
and gives them the change for the ferryman.
We know what the ride over the horizon is.
Fucking Dr. Steve knows the ferryman by his first name. Just talking. Yeah, I got another one for you.
The thing from Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
Same thing with quarter too.
And the ride over the horizon is a nice steep cliff. Right,
You think
Dr.
it is?
Steve? Yes.
Dr. Steve's never seen a spirit come out of anyone. Have you ever felt a weird feeling when someone passes, that an electric feeling, anything?
No, but it is interesting the line between being alive and being dead, because someone is right close to death, but they still are animated, and when they pass away, it's just not, that person isn't there anymore. It's really it's hard to put into words, but it is.
Well, why don't you try?
I think of it as unplugging the microwave when it's spinning around. Like it's alive, it's moving, it's cooking something, and then it's just not. That's what I think it is too.
Who's that
blackness and nothingness?
Who's that politician in the 80s that killed himself during the press conference?
Oh, Arbud Dwyer.
Bart Dwyer. Did you ever watch that footage? It's disturbing to watch how instantaneous the life is gone.
Yeah, he's
it's really creepy.
Yeah.
Gone.
What do you think happens when you die, doctor? Do you believe anything afterwards or nothing, right?
Well, I mean, there's the part of me that grew up a Methodist, and so I have that in my worldview.
It's a Methodist to his
the whole
madness.
Christian theology stuff. But then, the scientific part of me is there. Does struggle with that. But now, there is a certain form of immortality, though. In an infinite universe, we would have counterparts elsewhere in the universe that are exactly like us, because in an infinite universe, if you take a small volume of space, that there's a finite number of particles. Did you guys hang up on me again?
No. It's actually interesting what you're saying. Because that is so funny. It's like, did you hang up on me again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's so paranoid.
Why are you so paranoid?
That is so funny.
I was.
Well, continue because it's very interesting.
I was digging that because it's like if something's infinite, what you're saying is if it's infinite, there is definitely, it's not even questionable, it's definite that there will be exact duplicates of things.
Yes,
based on infinite, right?
Stage one.
God. Oh, shit. Oh, you know he's still talking.
That was a team effort, by the way.
He's still talking.
Me and I looked at each other like, this has to happen.
We huddled on that one.
We certainly did.
That poor fuck.
Hey,
I love Dr. Steve, by the way. Dr. Steve is the shit. Weird Medicine is his show. It's here on The Virus.
Yeah.
I don't know when the next episode is, but I'm
Hopefully
sure
never. Next week.
Next week, Dr. Steve's Weird Medicine. He's really, really good on it. He's a great friend, a great pal, and a shitty winemaker. Dr. Steve.
And eats like shit as he tells you should eat healthy. And he played Joseph this past holiday season.
Did he?
A question for next time.
Oh, and that was for Sleeves?
And his wife might have played Mary.
Sleeves?
In what?
No, just
wasn't he involved
shit.
in a Sleeves project?
Maybe. Sleeves rules.
Shut up.
You hear the River Rat Doc song yet?
Just stop with Sleeves.
You hear the River Rat Doc song yet?
No.
What's that?
What is it? What's the River Rat Doc? What?
That's River Rat Doc on Twitter.
No. Oh, no.
What happened?
I just got,
oh, yeah, we get the text
got
messages
a text.
where he writes us all goes, oh, that was really funny, but you know he's really hurting inside as he writes that.
You fucks.
Yeah.
The good doctor just said, you fucks.
Hey, where's Troy Kwan? Because all of his conspiracies were knocked out of the air like those fucking birds were.
Exactly.
Where's the Troy Kwan before we go to break? And Joe DeRosa, where are you going to be?
I'm going to be at CB's in the West Village all weekend, and I also have a show every Tuesday night at the Ace of Clubs in Manhattan. It's called Righteous Kill. It's a fun show.
Yeah, man, it's been too long.
Yeah. Come down, come hang out, people.
Hang out.
It's like $5, man, and we had Bobby Kelly a couple weeks ago. We're gonna have Keith Robinson, I think, next week.
I follow you on Twitter, and I do have a complaint that I have for a lot of the comics, except Jimmy Norton. Plugging the gigs on Twitter, I have no problem with that. But how about a little just extra fun stuff every so often?
Yeah, how about a fucking one-liner?
I'll bash fucking, you know who I'll bash the most for that? Louis C.K.
But he doesn't care.
But I know. But sometimes Louis just gets drunk and starts going off about Sarah Palin. That's kind of funny. But for the most part, Louis is just like, hey, I'll be here. It's like, how about throwing us a little funny something every so often?
I'm going to tweet right now.
Are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Give us something good right now.
Tweet something good?
I'm going to tweet right now.
Jimmy was tweeting yesterday how he was flying with old people and how he was bossing around old people on a plane. Like, Jimmy lets you know what's going on.
It is weird. The guys you really want to be tweeting and using Twitter properly just don't.
I don't.
Louis C.K. certainly is one of those.
I don't mind the plugs. Believe me, I know what you guys do. I love it. Whatever. And I even plug things like if I'm, allowed to do a certain thing in my house, I would plug it. But I also like basic conversation. I like when someone tweets. Andy Levy is great with that shit.
I love
Andy Levy is a great tweeter.
What is he on Twitter? Andy Levy?
Yeah.
I think he just has Andy Levy. He's a really good
He's on Red Eye, which, by the way, if you tune into Red Eye next Thursday, you will see Anthony Cumia on Red Eye.
You doing it?
Yeah, I've done it for quite a while now, Joe.
Dude,
I love doing Red Eye.
No, I didn't mean
it's fun.
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I think I might be on next Thursday.
If you're on Thursday,
no, I'm on Monday. I'm on Monday.
Joe DeRosa Comedy. What are you tweeting for everybody?
I tweeted, Opie and Anthony told me I need to tweet more, so here.
Oh, you suck.
That's at least it's something. Look, let's spend New Year's Eve together. Let's see what else he goes. Wait a minute. You did write something. I'm sick, and I'm watching Love Actually. I think my hormones are trying to tell me something.
There you go.
You see? Okay, sick tweets. Maybe I fucking convicted you. I wrongly fucking accused you here.
What you're not reading is the fine print that these tweets are 2 months apart.
I see.
All right, tonight, Righteous Kill, right? It's Saturday. Is it Saturday or Sunday?
You got to tweet more, Joe.
It must be. No, but okay, all right.
I just don't like doing it.
You're not as bad as I thought you were. Maybe I just ignore everything but your plugs.
Look at that nice tweet. My album made top 10 albums of the year.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
Hey, isn't it odd that we're all up for these Twitter awards, these Shorty Awards?
Are we?
Yes.
Oh.
What's
Everyone's nominating us for these Shorty
nice
Awards.
What are Shorty Awards?
I don't know. It's some kind of Twitter thing. But I'm nominated for journalism and for politics.
They nominated. I did see that actually. E-Rock was nominated for food. I swear to God, there's a food category. I swear to God,
it hasn't stopped.
I swear to God.
And the
It's called the Shorty Awards, and I do appreciate everyone legitimately.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
nominating us for stuff.
It's kind of funny. Jimmy's in there for books, by the way, for
books.
author. Yeah.
There's E-Rock, 10th place in the food category.
I was 4th before. What
Fuck,
happened?
we better move up E-Rock Radio, right?
Get E-Rock Radio up there.
You used to be #1 in politics, too.
Yeah, I was in there in politics,
Nice.
too. And one guy said he nominates me for politics because I teach him a lot about Hitler and the N people.
So I guess the Shorty Awards
shit.
are a complete joke, right?
I guess so.
Hey, we got Troy.
Didn't Dave win one last year?
No,
Dave
that's what I
was
was gonna say.
nominated and lost.
He lost to somebody who was pretending to be a llama
And lost his
In the-
fucking mind on stage at the presentation.
live on CNN.
Out live on CNN. It was classic fucking Eastside Dave.
And
That's
he's upset
lunatic.
because he's trying to win the weird category now, and people are voting all of us for these stupid categories, but not voting for Dave in the weird
But
category.
you know why? Because unfortunately, Dave isn't on the show. He would run away with it. What is he, 3rd for the weird category? Oh, that's good. David McDonald, Eastside Dave, vote for him in the weird category.
He's beating out the llama.
He is beating out the llama.
I don't even know what these awards. What are these awards?
It's for
horseshit
Twitter.
in the end.
It's Twitter.
I want to be nominated.
Any Twitter. Joe DeRosa for plugs.
Yeah.
Just fucking plugging.
Can I
gigs.
be nominated for plugs? What else
Plugging
can I be
gigs.
nominated
Worst
for?
Twitterer.
Worst Twitterer. Here's the categories.
Let's get a category for you, Joe.
How about marketing?
You look like
Marketing. That would be
you
good.
look like a green guy.
green.
I'm so not at all. The shit I get whenever people come over to my place, like for drinks or something, and they're like, "Where do we put our beer cans?" I'm like, "In the fucking trash."
And the garbage.
You know, recycle? No, I
No.
don't give a shit.
It's garbage. It'll end up
At
in a
all.
landfill. I don't give a shit.
How about innovation? I want to be nominated for that.
Innovation.
Nominated for
That's
it.
nice.
That
All right,
sounds
Joe
good.
DeRosa.
Anthony, breaking news. We got Tom in Madison, Wisconsin, who's going to talk for everybody. Go ahead, Tom.
I think Kenny is the fucking best phone screener in the world. I tell you. Anyway, if indeed that was him, I can only envision a giant body with a little hat. But what are the numbers, guys? And less than 10% of adults have Twitter? Come on, get over it. I'm dying out here. You're funnier than hell. I like you. But push Eastside Dave.
Twitter and
Wow, you are all over the place.
Yeah, Twitter and
This guy's-
Facebook is a
shit.
nice little side thing that, if you like the show, is kind of fun to do.
It is.
Yeah.
We're talking to way more people right now than I'll ever talk to on Twitter. I
And
know
believe
that
me,
shit.
the demographic of people that he's talking about everyone overall that uses Twitter is only a fraction of the people. But if you're talking about our audience, a lot of them are using Twitter.
But the thing with Twitter, with this social networking, now it's being hooked up to the Facebook and everything else. So,
Yeah.
so it's kind of just becoming fucking
The bottom of
huge.
every news story has a Twitter
Right.
thing. If you want to Twitter the news story or fucking link it to something, it just
I like that it keeps the show going pretty much 24/7.
That guy was a fucking retard.
That's all right. Most of the people listening to us right now don't have Twitter. That's true. But the ones that do and they follow us, they have a pretty good time.
I think it's a
with it.
larger percentage than the overall population.
What bothers me
Our
about
audience is kind of in there.
Where did Troy Kwan go? He thought he was off the hook?
Yeah, I think it
What?
did.
Oh, I thought you left the room. And why you look so fucking mean?
No, whenever you're ready for me.
Wow, did he give you a look, Opie?
Yeah, you look mean.
Holy fuck.
He is giving
you
you a
were
look.
sitting on the chair
Mike,
and you were just
say
like,
something.
yeah, I'm
Yo.
here.
Okay,
I'm
wait,
here,
wait.
motherfucker.
Here's Troy Kwan.
Yeah, whenever you're ready for me. I'm just hanging out.
This music.
So, Troy,
Yo.
you had a lot of questions.
Yep.
You've had a rough week with the Opie and Anthony
Oh,
show
yeah.
because you're kind of a conspiracy guy. You
No,
like to
not a conspiracy guy.
But you like to question things.
Sure.
Now, Michio Kaku explained a lot of things today. Are you okay with his explanations, or do you feel like we should dig further into the dead birds, the dead fish, and whatnot?
Yeah, well, I mean, Michio Kaku is the end-all, be-all. So we should just believe what he says because
that
he
sounds
wrote a book.
sarcastic.
Well, he wrote a book. So
Yeah.
and he's a doctor.
He's a
So
physicist.
he's a physicist.
Yes.
So whatever he says has got to be the truth, right?
And it's more so, I think, than some dumb fucking college puke that thinks there's a conspiracy to everything,
Right.
and says the birds fell out of the sky because of a satellite array in Alaska.
I feel like neither of you really mean what you're saying right now.
No,
I feel
we're
like
actually-
you're both being very sarcastic.
Wouldn't it be weird?
I think Troy's being very sarcastic.
Wouldn't it be
It is-
weird
it's-
if it was sound
of course Anthony
sarcastic
is.
but isn't conversation? We're like, oh yeah, we should just believe everything he says, and he means it.
Well-
We're sarcastic sounding guy.
Oh, wait, you meant what you said. You were calling him a college puke. right?
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
No, not you. I was just saying these people that.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were calling him a
No, not him personally.
Oh, sorry.
I just
okay.
mean the people that like saying everything's a conspiracy. or something.
And with the birds thing, it was one species of bird. That's why.
Yeah, it would
I mean, if it was something else, there would have been many different species fucking dead all over the road.
Yeah.
So
A vulture.
makes it more logical that something happened within the flock.
Right. Yeah. I guess.
Because there's other birds in the sky, isn't there?
Sure.
So
You
why aren't
still
they
want
on
to
the
believe
ground?
that the chemtrails did it, though?
No, I never said the chemtrails did it.
No, you said you saw the chemtrails, and then a couple of
birds
days
dead.
later, the birds are dead. So you went, just saying.
No, this is what I said. I was in Arkansas. I was driving through. I saw a massive amount of chemtrails, and I had
Contrails.
tweeted a joke.
Yes.
Okay. And then a couple days later, birds are falling out of the sky.
It's a conspiracy.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I'm not here trying to convince you of chemtrails doing it.
But did you like
No,
what
no,
Michio Kaku had to say? Or,
I don't believe in chemtrails.
Or you don't buy into his horseshit? He's explained 2012 to us.
Dude.
He's explained the Twin Towers thing very well.
There's nothing that anybody could say that's going to change my beliefs.
What's your belief?
That's a healthy way to live.
Well, I'm just. I believe that the mainstream media is corrupt.
Yes.
And they are. They're lying to us.
I believe a lot.
It's a conspiracy.
So I'm just a regular fucking dude going about my day, trying to live my life, doing the best I can with what I have. And
Sound like a Springsteen song.
I'm just a regular dude going through my day,
But what I'm saying,
trying
Anthony.
to get through life with the things I got. It's just me and Wendy listening to the corrupt news, Wendy.
These chemtrails.
Chemtrails over Jersey. There's chemtrails over Jersey.
What about
we went down to the beach and the boardwalk was full of aliens. And I didn't know what to do.
What about the blackbirds, Bruce?
Blackbirds dropping from the sky over Jersey. I was driving down the parkway and me and Wendy saw blackbirds dying. Here, Calvin. Calvin, go. I'm just a regular guy trying to make my way through life with a corrupt press.
Well,
and by corrupt press, I mean Jews, but I don't want to say Jews.
You think Michio Kaku's working for the man, Troy?
I don't know. I mean, if scientists are developing whether.
Cause there's aluminum in the air over Jersey. Wow, wow, wow.
Somebody's putting fluoride in the drinking water again.
The towers goes into my mouth.
It led to the towers being an inside job.
Well, I didn't see a plane at the Pentagon. There wasn't an engine, and everyone was gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We can find 500 planets, but we can't find Bin Laden. Something's wrong, people.
And where'd that passport come from, Wendy?
Let Troy have it.
I'm sorry.
Troy, go ahead.
Troy,
No, I don't care. I don't need to try to
Bruce,
convince you guys of anything. I mean, whatever.
yeah.
You guys believe whatever you want to believe. I don't care. I really don't. Whatever you guys want to believe, whatever helps you sleep at night, believe it.
It doesn't help me sleep at night. It
Well,
doesn't
why-
keep me up at night. I don't think about it as much. I don't take everything at face value, but for the most part, the path of least resistance is probably what happened.
There you go.
For the majority of things.
Yeah,
you don't
I
have
know.
to think that everything had to be this plot and everything is being covered up.
And I don't.
And there's this grand plan. But you kind of do because you're questioning everything. Sometimes things are just what they are.
Well, there you go. You convinced me of it.
I believe this.
He goes, there you are. You're convincing
I
him.
believe there's some sneaky shit going on, but not to the extent you
No,
think.
of course not. I
And
mean,
my issue with you, Troy, is that you have questions with no substance behind it. And I keep encouraging you to come up with some
well,
substance.
what do you want substance of? I mean,
Like what killed the birds? Let's go right back to what started this whole thing with you.
I don't know. I have
But what
no idea.
But I'm sure you've been doing your research. No.
Well, I know what you know.
But did you do research and you found some websites that are questionable? And what are they saying?
Thermite paint.
They're saying fireworks and lightning.
But you're not believing that.
Well, who cares what I believe? What do you care what I believe?
It's out of curiosity.
No, but I mean, seriously, who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Because it's another point of view. That's why. That's what we do in this show. That's why.
It's what people do in life, kind of trade ideas.
Trade ideas.
Ever since cavemen.
And you can go, you're an
days.
asshole for thinking what you're thinking. And he goes, oh, yeah, well, you're a fucking asshole for thinking what you're
someone
thinking.
drew something on a cave wall, and someone pointed at it and said, that's bullshit.
Right. And then every once in a while, maybe you learn something from somebody else and you exchange a little info. That's all.
Yeah.
That's why I care.
I mean, I haven't done too much. I know what you know just by looking through what has been printed online.
See, I'm not suspicious because it was one species.
Right.
Because there's a lot of birds in the sky all the time. So if it was some poisoning or some fucking weapon or
They
some
were working on a poison, though, that just takes out one type of person.
Right.
And believe me, blackbirds, enough said. Enough said. That's step one.
We all know they can't be leaders, right, Anthony? Yeah.
I understand what they're doing.
No, but... You know, I like the lightning theory, but then that would have fucked up what I just said to Troy, that other species would have fucking fallen from the sky if it was lightning. Yeah. But fucking Michio Kaku with that explanation, the lead bird fucked up and everyone had to do a mass suicide because of it.
That makes perfect sense to me. I mean, that's biologically that makes sense. Their leader goes down. The birds think they're supposed to go down. They're not smart.
You see the flock of birds, and you see them flying, and they all turn. They know where to go, and they're all following each other.
Yeah.
Who's to say? Yeah, one of them doesn't fly into the ground, and they all kind of follow, or enough of them until one of them goes, hey, fuck this.
Well, isn't that what happens with the whales? Yeah. One stupid whale thinks he knows what he's doing, and they all follow
and they
the dumb
beach
whale.
A pod.
Right. People
a pod
do that
whales.
for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, people
do that. A mob of people being led by somebody will all commit the same.
Prime example: crosswalk. When when it's a don't walk, but one guy says I can make it, and he goes and he can make it, someone else will just step off the curb and follow them.
Or how about when the guy blindly follows his GPS onto the train tracks or something?
Oh, yeah, that's another great one.
I love when every once in a while you get to drive on the water if you have GPS. That's always fun.
Oh yeah, when you're driving,
and you look down your GPS and you're like, wow, I'm in the middle of the water now.
I'm in the East River. This is great. What happened?
Hey, someone's doing hawk today.
Hey, what the fuck?
She's very excited about the snow, you guys. Well, let's talk about.
Someone just did hawk.
Someone totally did a hawk.
Wait, what is that about?
Some broad.
They're doing some live dumb thing about the weather, and some girl ran up from behind with her arms in the air, just like we were talking about with hawk.
That's weird.
Could someone find out if that had anything to do with anything? I'm not going to be.
It's hilarious. I love the immaturity of just fucking up a live broadcast like that. And the guy's got to go, well, she's very excited about the snow.
Troy, you just need more substance behind what you're thinking.
I
That's
got
all.
you. That's fine.
That's all.
Cool.
And
yeah,
that's
man.
why I do care.
All right, dude.
I learn a lot on this show. A shitload. And I also like calling people out on being whatever. But
well, that's the thing with conspiracy theories, too, is that what you were saying about path of least resistance is probably what happened. A lot of the time, and I'm not against a conspiracy theory, but a lot of time conspiracy theories go against science. You know, for instance, like with medicine, a doctor will tell you, you know, where you say, well, could I contract a sickness this way? This might have happened, this might have happened, this way. The first thing the doctor will say is, you're dealing with a lot of maybes right now. You need to deal with definites. What definitely happened, and then you know if you were exposed possibly to something. You know what I mean? Wow. And that's with conspiracy theories, same thing. It's like, well, if this happened, and then that would allow for this tentatively to happen, and theoretically then this could hinge on that. It's, you get down the line with this mousetrap scenario, where it's like, you can't.
Right.
It's just not
too
likely.
Many weird maybes and things that are so hard to happen that the easier things it's easier that it happened that way. That's all.
Sure.
That's usually my take on it. I believe me. I think there are shenanigans going on all the time, but they get exposed because people are stupid. People talk, and when someone tries to cover something up, it gets exposed.
Well, that's the thing, too. Somebody way up the top of the government ladder that's going to orchestrate some sort of thing that justifies a conspiracy theory, he's no less of a half-ass than the average person. That guy's sitting there, too, going, this is going to be a fucking headache? Are you shitting me?
A prime example is, look at fucking Watergate and Nixon.
Yeah.
Everyone tried to cover that shit up, but people opened their mouths. They left evidence. And that was like a huge cover-up. They tried their best.
They really wanted.
At the top end of the government, they tried to cover that shit up and couldn't fucking fucking do it.
Yeah, they can't keep the spoilers for the new Spider-Man movie secret. You know, like
that's me. It's not the whole deal that conspiracies can't happen logistically or technically, but it's that dumb-ass fucking human element that makes me doubt that conspiracies are so deep-rooted.
And you don't think that there has been cover-ups about what is going on in our food, what is going on with flu shots?
They get exposed.
Do they? I mean,
irradiated
hold
food.
On,
you mean things
hold
like
on.
that?
He said, do they? Came out today.
Yeah, the vaccinations. Yeah, I got. But I'm talking about.
No. But no one knows. Study linking vaccinations to autism called fraudulent. And that was something that people started buying into, saying, holy shit, kids are getting autism because of the vaccination. There.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is...
And they're now proving that was bullshit.
When you watch the news, they tell you, oh, it's flu season, go get your flu shots. So guess what everybody does? They go, okay, let's go get our flu shots, got to go down and do it. And then it's like, what are you injecting me with? And
it's a conspiracies.
The guy's trying to make a point, and you just shit on it with that production.
No, I thought it was the end of the point. That's the
it's the end of the point.
You guys are nominated for...
Troy's like, no, it's the end of the point.
God forbid we try to make people laugh.
You guys are nominated for a journalism award.
Yes, we're trying for our journalism shorty.
All right, so people march down to get their flu shot, and...
So they walk down, they go here, they don't even know where they're going, they just walk in, they're like, hey, inject me with whatever you got.
All right.
Boom. Inject you.
All right, Troy, now let me ask you.
Go ahead.
What makes more sense? That they're getting something that was worked on in a lab to stop them from getting the flu, or that it's some deep-seated evilness that they're injecting in them? What makes more sense?
Or, can I add something to that?
Yes, please.
Instead of going, hey, this was designed in a laboratory, how about I try to do something natural to avoid getting the flu? I don't want to be injected with whatever that is. I don't care what they...
There is something natural. It's called getting the flu.
Yeah, it's
and
called...
then you become immune to that strain.
It's called exercising. It's called eating healthy. It's called taking your vitamins and living a healthy lifestyle, and you can avoid the flu. So what's wrong with saying, you know what? I don't want to go do that.
There's nothing wrong with saying that.
You could still get a virus,
you can.
a viral flu.
But say I don't want to get injected from what they're giving me.
Getting your immune system up is a very healthy thing. You're right.
All right, two things. First of all, you sound like Hulk Hogan there, which is nice with the vitamins and stuff.
Take your vitamins, brother.
Right. And the other thing is... why would the government make it so complicated, like talking and getting flu shots, when the government could possibly open up their own burger joint and have the fucking poisons in the burgers?
Oh. Well, what are you saying, Opie?
It would be a lot easier to do it that way.
Well, there is poison in burgers.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with all this.
They can make it a lot easier instead of complicated, where they have to talk you into actually getting a shot.
Here's the thing
for the flu. When they
can,
they could easily just set up some joints that
put it in the water system.
They know this burger joint is bad news, so the people they don't want to get the poison certainly know that don't go to fucking this burger joint.
How do you know when you drink bottled water, there isn't shit in this?
Exactly, and that's. I mean,
I was being sarcastic.
Well, I mean, you don't want to go down that road because nobody is regulating what this is.
By the way, for these theories about poison flu shots or government fluoride in the water or whatever it is, there are easy solutions to these things. The government could make flu shots mandatory very easily, make them mandatory, especially now with the new health care bill being passed.
Yeah.
The government can easily fluoride up all the bottled water if they wanted to. If they really wanted to, people could avoid tap water and they could get their fluoride in a different way. And also, this is what kills me. Nobody ever takes into account the psychological aspect of this. People say, well, these foods are loaded with poisons, and therefore we're all getting more sick because of them. Well, maybe we're all getting more sick because that's in our heads right now, and the holistic aspect of that has us all thinking, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get sick, and that can make you sick.
Psychosomatic?
Well, not psychosomatic. Medicine will tell you that if your body has a propensity to be subject to a certain ailment, for instance, like a heart attack or something like that, and you get yourself worked up, you can literally give yourself a heart attack. Not a fake heart attack. You can make yourself have a heart attack. Right. So my point is,
Did you prove that?
No, I can't.
How do you work
But my
through
friend,
that?
No, meaning
my friend's got a heart condition.
Try to make that happen.
Oh, come on, man! I'm on a roll
Troy,
here.
it's not just against you.
But like the
beat
point,
everyone up in this room.
The point is if this stuff is so bad for you, well then, how come everybody before this generation or this current society that we're living in now was fine. Well, my dad ate whatever he wanted his whole life. He's still alive. He's still kicking. He's still fine. Never had a goddamn worry about eating too much red meat or too much pizza or too much McDonald's.
But on average, the life expectancy has gone up over the years.
What do you mean he's fine? He's still alive?
Average.
He's totally alive.
How old?
He's perfectly healthy. He's 65 years old. 64.
It happens at 74. 74 is the age.
But my point is, they'll make you think now that the government is injecting every cheeseburger with AIDS, and if you eat one, you'll be dead at 15 years old. It's like
Got any AIDS burgers back there?
It's not AIDS, but there's preservatives in it. There is they give the cows hormones.
Yeah.
So there's a whole string of things that they're doing to food now that they weren't doing in your father's generation.
But it might just be irresponsibility. They're doing that to have better food and don't realize,
you ever see a chicken breast
there
now?
is some after effects of it.
If you're putting hormones, you ever see what cows look like that are pumped full of hormones?
Oh, the delicious is how they look.
It's disgusting. And if you
they got beautiful bodies.
You know what an old steak used to taste like?
And I love steak, dude. That fucking sucks.
A lot of grizzle.
A lot of gristle. Now it's just this nice, plump, juicy steak. It's like, who cares what they're doing with hormones?
Right.
Well,
Have they? And life expectancy is greater than it's ever been in this country. So what problem is that? Irradiated food. They're making more food. Not as much waste. Corn is great. You ever see a fucking ear of corn now compared to what it was like years ago?
It's better
years
to
ago,
eat natural.
Looked like that fake corn you hung on your fucking door on Halloween, and now it's the golden nuggets on a buttery nice corn cob.
It literally looks like popcorn before you pop it.
Do you know corn cobs these days look beautiful? If you showed a today corn cob to a guy 50 years ago, he'd go, "What the fuck is that? It's beautiful.
Because it's genetically altered.
I'm jumping G Hosey fat. Whatever.
You're genetically altering this shit. So just because it looks good doesn't mean it's healthy for you, though.
You never know. You don't know. You don't know if it's unhealthy.
Well, I'm just saying that people are getting sicker now from food than they ever have
and
been.
It's giving 9-year-old girls tits.
I don't think it's necessarily unhealthy, and there is no better example than fear versus consumption than everything going on with the health craze. They tell you that you can't eat anything except lettuce and boiled chicken, or else you're going to die. And then you go to buy a salad with boiled chicken on top of it, and it's $14 for iceberg lettuce with shit fucking processed chicken on top. Go to Cozy. These fucking morons that go, Wendy's is bad for you. We need to eat it Cozy. Really? What are you going to eat? You're going to eat a chicken Caesar salad sandwich, you fat fuck? That's any better for you? With that processed fucking Oscar Mayer chicken that they dump in there and that Paul Newman creamy Caesar salad dressing. Yeah, no, that's way healthier than a Baconator. Go fucking eat it. Enjoy it.
All right, well, we should take a break.
Yeah, you got me all worked up.
I know, right?
Honestly, it's a good workout.
Don't get worked up. It's unhealthy.
I liked listening to Joe DeRosa.
Yeah.
Fez gave himself a heart attack, so you're on to something.
He did?
Yeah, he certainly did.
My friend's wife has a heart condition. She had 2 heart attacks last year, and she almost had another one. She had the symptoms, and the doctors were like, they were like, you were working out. You started to feel a little lightheaded, and they go, dude, if you start focusing on that, you can literally give yourself another heart attack.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Or if that's
Mind
true,
is
why can't you
weird.
give yourself abs?
I don't know. I've been trying.
Can't you think yourself into being in shape?
Yeah.
I
Why is
can't
it only thinking yourself into being sick?
I can't even think that hard about abs.
All right.
It's a little I care.
Joe DeRosa killing for us today. We appreciate that. Troy Kwan, thank you so much.
Yes, Troy.
Troy's had a rough week, I can tell.
Troy he's going to drink this weekend.
Yeah, he's got a rough week.
That's cool. Man.
Yeah.
I'm stoked to be part of you guys' show. So
You're representing some people out there. That's all.
Yeah,
that's what this damn thing's
totally
about.
I understand, but I just
We all represent people out there.
I'm not
We
a-
come
I'm-
from very different walks of life here.
conspiracy theorists have an agenda to push their agenda on you, and I have no desire to push my agenda on anybody.
But that's why
I have no agenda.
That's why. That's why I set up what you say with. He has questions.
Right. So
I'm not necessarily saying you're a conspiracy
and I'm not
guy.
saying that everything that those guys say is the gospel truth, the conspiracy guys, but sometimes they say interesting things. Sometimes Dr. Kaku makes an interesting point.
Interesting point.
All right. Thank you, Troy Kwan.
Thank you.
Here
We're
goes
gonna take
Troy.
a break, and you know what? We might.
It's all right, Troy. You had a good week, I swear. There he goes.
It's a conspiracies.
Listen,
He is pissed.
I know he is. You can see it in his eyes.
He's an angry dude.
He's gonna fuck someone up.
Holy shit.
I just hope it's not me. Listen, we're gonna come back, and I think we're gonna go hoarders. Unless Joe has
I
something.
love fucking hoarders.
What do you want to talk about?
Is
after
that
break, Joe?
fat fucking?
Whatever you guys want to do.
The one you talked about earlier this week.
We
finally got
fucking
the audio
hit on that. Oh, good.
And also, the season finale of Hoarders is coming up.
Sweet.
Yes, and it is a woozy.
And a thought, because
A woozy, a woolulu.
A doozy?
Or a doozy.
I was watching Intervention.
I'm woozy.
And I was watching Intervention, one of your favorite shows.
Yeah.
So it was on. I'm like, you know
Hot
what?
crack whore? What episode?
It was, with the blonde.
Hot meth head? Yeah.
With the lunatic boyfriend.
Right.
Saying, look, you're just going to be back out on the street.
You're
when
a
this is all over.
whore, and she smacks him. Dumb bitch.
So the premise is they're doing a documentary on addicts.
On drug addicts.
I know they're drug addicts, but not one of these dummies can't figure out that it's actually for intervention.
I was just saying that.
You were?
Yeah, as I'm watching it going, they always go to this hotel room not knowing that, like, their family's going to be in there. And
I want to see all the footage of the people that went, fuck you.
Fuck
I know
you.
this is for intervention, you idiot. I watched the show.
I ain't going.
And the answer would be, well, they're drug addicts, so they're not thinking clearly. Really?
Yeah.
Every single one thinks it's a documentary on addicts or addiction?
They are fucked up on drugs.
You watch Celebrity Rehab?
I watched this.
Looking at Danny.
This is
what?
All I saw was Junior Prom.
Let me tell you what.
The what?
Let me tell you what you need to do, Anthony. What? Anthony?
I'm sorry.
Anthony,
I'm sorry.
What's the baby show you watch? Little Miss Perfect?
I like
whatever it's called.
I like Little Miss Perfect better than Toddlers and Tiaras.
What were you saying?
Exactly.
What is it?
I like Little Miss Perfect is better than Toddlers and Tiaras.
So this is what you do. You watch Little Miss Perfect.
Yeah.
Then you seg into intervention. And then you move on to Celebrity Rehab.
Okay.
And you finish up your
I don't
night
like
with
Celebrity Rehab.
And you finish up your night with Dancing with the Stars.
I like Hoarders.
It's an arc.
Hoarders.
It's an arc.
Of what happens in real life.
Where do you fit Hoarders?
That's a good point.
Hoarders. I don't know where you fit Hoarders. That might be another
That's
arc
at
we
the
start.
end.
I feel like Hoarders is a whole other day.
That's what I'm
a
saying.
whole other ballpark. Yeah,
But if you seg from all the shows I mentioned, it all kind of makes sense. The Little Miss Perfect people are fucked up, so they move into fucking doing drugs. Then you got to do their intervention.
No,
thing.
how about 16 and Pregnant?
16 and Pregnant?
Is after Little Miss Perfect. Then 16 and Pregnant.
Wait, so how does it go now? Little Miss Perfect.
Little Miss Perfect.
Where do the drugs come in?
After
you have the
16
baby?
and Pregnant, yeah.
So you go Little Miss Perfect, then it moves nicely into 16 and Pregnant.
16 and Pregnant.
Okay, I got you. Then you go into Intervention.
Intervention,
Because now
yeah.
they're fucking drug addicts.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
their horrible lies between the beauty pageants and squeezing something out of their young twats.
Right.
So then you go Intervention. The Intervention happens. Now you got to get into some rehab. So you go
Rehab.
Celebrity Rehab.
Celebrity
All right.
Rehab.
And what do we do after Celebrity Rehab?
Dance with the Star. I thought that was
Dance
the
with the
perfect
Stars.
thing.
Then a fun one because you're all rehabbed out, but then you crash into Hoarders and you end up a loner in your house.
Hoarders,
full of
I'm
shit.
agreeing with Joe. That's Tuesday night programming. So we need an arc that includes Hoarders.
Hoarders is a tough one because it's so.
But what would be the show before Hoarders?
That's what I'm saying. It's tough. It's,
Or does it start
it's
with
so
Hoarders?
oddly psychotic. Like I don't even know. If they had a show about people that were OCD and germaphobes and shit, that would be what you follow Hoarders with. Because they clean up and then they go in the other direction off the deep end. But they don't have that. Like, I don't even know what you would couple with Hoarders. It's so odd.
Well, Hoarder is somebody that, like, kind of,
you know what?
Later in life that fucked in.
But we'll go to break, and this is great because after the break, someone on this fucking phone is going to have the answer of the Hoarders arc.
All right,
Where all the
I might
programming
know.
makes sense. Yes.
I think, because I know they did one season, but I haven't seen it back for a second, so I'm thinking maybe it's not around anymore. But there was a show called Obsessed.
Obsessed.
It was all about OCD
yeah,
people,
yeah.
and
That
like
was
I
a good
actually
one.
had to tap out of it. Like I couldn't watch the
So you
episode.
go to-
Oh, they
anymore.
did have a show about that.
Yeah, I couldn't. It
So
was
you
making
go
me crazy.
Obsessed into Hoarders?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I would go Hoarders into Obsessed.
Do you think Obsessed is actually like crazier people than the Hoarders?
Well, here's why. Because Hoarders is like the intervention for messy people or whatever you want to call it. So they clean them up and then they go off the shit house deep end in the other direction. That's my point. Obsessed, if you're already a fucking germaphobe, neat freak, you would never collapse into Hoarders. But if you're a hoarder, you could transition into the other thing. Does that make sense?
I gotcha.
I got
I
it.
like it.
Antique Roadshow.
Oh, shit.
Then we need a bridge to Hoarders.
Pickers.
Pickers is
Things
that
like
might be a little
that.
too similar. We're smarter than this, people. We're smarter than this.
Antique, that's a good call, dude. Or
you
go,
do the picking and then you take your horse shit to Antique Roadshow.
I think you go Hoarders Antique Roadshow.
No, you go Pickers Antique Roadshow.
Right.
Because you got to pick the
You
shit
end
out
with
first.
Hoarders because then you're just
And then now
stuck
you're
in your
obsessed.
house.
But
full
there's
of
got to be
shit.
another one between Antique Roadshow and Hoarders.
What if it's Hoarders, then Pickers, then Antique Roadshow?
No,
But
you can't be hoarding if you haven't picked
first.
yet.
You got to pick.
All right,
You always got to pick first.
I think it's Pickers, Hoarders, Antique Roadshow. I think Antique Roadshow is the redemption. You've.
Oh, so even though you're only bringing one lousy fucking dumb clock from the 17th century, you have a million clocks in your house that the people don't know about.
Maybe you threw them all away, and that's the one you kept because you thought it might be worth something. I mean, we got to make a little backstory here.
We're trying to get Tuesday night programming set here, Joe.
Pawn Stars, they could pawn off some of their fucking.
Oh,
yeah, but they
shit.
wouldn't do
But
that.
how would they do
wouldn't,
that?
no.
Because you're a hoarder.
They wouldn't.
But Hoarders
What
is
is that,
about getting
nuts?
better. That's my point. Is at the end of Hoarders, you're
You
supposed.
ever watch the show? They never get better.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes they'll clean up the house a little bit.
Storage Wars, where they have all their shit in a big storage locker.
There you go.
Yeah,
God,
add
see,
that
all
in.
right.
You know,
all right.
we might go to the phones. I think the listeners are going to have to help us out with
both.
these show arcs. We call them show arcs.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What, you had one, Danny?
No, I was just saying Storage Wars is probably a good fit because first they have all the shit, and then the shit
Yeah.
has to be somewhere for a little bit.
And then they can't afford to keep it.
And then they can sell the shit.
And we need Wednesday night programming has to be about the fucking fat slob.
Okay.
You got the Biggest Loser. You got Cake Boss. But we
Okay.
got to balance this out and put it all together.
And I never watched MTV, but it was on in my house, and I saw some show called "I Used to Be Fat."
I Used to Be Fat.
and it's just
That could be after
it's
fucking
just
Biggest
these
Loser.
fat teenage girls.
Oh, it's
just
great.
bouncing around. It's hysterical.
Disgusting slobs.
Pickers.
I know, and they're all proud of themselves because they lost like 20 pounds, but
I
they still
know.
need to lose another 40.
Fat.
Ryan in Calgary. You got Pickers, My Strange Addiction, Storage Wars, Hoarders.
Oh wait, no, say it again. Sorry, Pickers.
Pickers, My Strange Addiction, because now you're picking through garbage to find that dumb thing. And Storage Wars, because now you got to store the shit, and then your storage area gets overcome, so now you become a complete hoarder.
Now you got to go Hoarders to storage area because storage would come after. It's like your house is full of shit, so you got to get storage space now.
That's true.
That's got to come after.
I want the arc that ends with first 48.
Well, we could do that arc too. So we could do a criminal one, a fat one.
Are we there? Are we there yet?
Right.
And a me,
Are we there yet?
a me night.
And first 48. Just
meet the Browns.
You know how they had must watch TV or whatever?
First 48 cold case file.
Must watch TV?
Yeah.
I would have a
Must-see
night
TV.
called just must see TV, sorry. I would have a me night.
I like it.
It's
That's
all
great.
about these fucking me's out there.
I think we figured out the Hoarders arc.
Yeah.
I think we can move on to the next one.
Wait, what is it now?
I think it's that guy had it, except I would flip Hoarders with Storage Wars.
So you'd go Pickers. So I got to fix this up here. My Strange Addiction, Hoarders, Storage Wars.
Yeah, then Antique Roadshow. Just as a nice little at the end.
I hate it.
Maybe they
Happy
fixed
ending.
it.
Yeah, we don't like happy end.
I kind of like it.
Where's the part where someone's dead?
Yeah. We got to have that.
Yeah. First 48.
Fucking
First 48. All right.
48. No, believe me, that's a whole different story, though.
All right. Well, then we don't need the Antique Roadshow. Just go end it on a real sour note with Hoarders.
Yeah.
There's that other show called like Hoarding or something.
Yeah, that's not as good.
It's a ripoff, but they usually redeem them at the end.
Yeah, I don't like that one. Their houses are never as messy.
It's awesome though when they show the disgusting house and then they do that camera trick where it shows what it transitions into.
There's still
I like
shit
that
on
part.
the walls.
Yeah,
That's called a crossfade.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole house is still a shithole, but they're like, "Look, I cleaned this counter off."
Great,
And you're like,
cleaned
"Yeah,
up.
good for you."
If that was the first shot you saw at the house, you'd still go, "Wow, what a shithole."
Yeah.
But since it was such a shithole,
It is a disgusting. It's so selfish too. That fucking.
it is. They give up everything they're found, and they're crying like they took my children and my family is the most important thing. Okay, how about you throw away this doll? No. Then you don't fucking care about your family, you dummy.
So
Yeah.
we'll do the Hoarders when we come
I want to
back.
hear that
Okay.
fat
And
bitch.
more show arcs. And let's not just think about shows happening right now. There's reruns all over the fucking place. Maybe you squeeze in an old show that kind of makes everything make sense.
Can we make up new shows that we need?
If we have to, yes.
Okay. All right.
3, 2, 1. This is Dr. Michio Kaku. Hey. This is Dr. Michio Kaku. Kaku. 3. Kaku. 2. Kaku. Michio Kaku. 1. Hey, this is Dr. Michio Kaku, and you're listening to Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony.
Oh, I'm sorry, right. Hey, this is Dr. Michio Kaku, and you're listening to Opie and... Opie? Opie, all right. Okay, Opie, right. We physicists always pronounce it Opie because of a famous physicist, Oppenheimer. Okay, Opie. Okay. Yeah, he built the atomic bomb. Okay, ready? Hey, this is Dr. Michio Kaku. You're listening to Opie and Anthony.